Elkins presents the Elkins Accounting Hour with your host, Chad Elkins.
All right, Mr. Clary, I feel like it has been forever. How has your 2025 been so far?
Really productive. Boring as hell, but really productive.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm halfway done with the book in like a week and a half.
Really?
I've been on fire. And then it's so boring because I bet you and all the other accountants are kind of in that field where it's year end, you do all your year end stuff, and now you're just waiting for documents to come in.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're kind of in a holding pattern. And so it's been a lot of work and preparing taxes and writing. And then I go to the gym, and then I'll go write at another coffee store. Then I'll go to a different gym just to change things up. But it's a boring, it's been a boring past 10 days, I'd say.
Is your GF in town?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
But she's doing year-end stuff, and then she's kind of resting up before the busy season begins. And but yeah, no, I wish my old man, I was talking to the other day, he's like, oh, what's the excitement? Like, there's no excitement. I mean, I know, oh my God, Vegas all the time. It's like, no, I went to I found a different gym to go to because they have slightly nicer certain weight sets. Yeah. But that's about it. That was the excitement.
I liked the one I went to when I was visiting you. That was a pretty good one.
In Rapid City?
No, this was in Vegas, remember?
Did we go to one in Vegas?
It was
Vegas?
It was either the day before or the day after we went to Zion. We went to the gym one time.
I'm forgetting everything now that I'm older. I really, don't you remember this? I'm like, no, I don't fucking remember that. Like half the time, hey, have you ever visited my place in South Dakota? Yeah, I was there last year. Oh yeah, that's right, you were. I'm forgetting shit. That's
Let me see if I can take you back to your childhood. Were you a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at all?
Yeah, they're all right. Yeah, I mean, they were very popular when I was a teenager. Yes. Did I like it? Yes. Was I all Chris Beckloffy over them? No. They were not like oh my God, the best thing ever. But they were good. Yeah.
Well, this beer is called Shell Shock, and as you can see, it's got the turtles on it.
What is this? Is there a facility where little children are given crayons and they're allowed to come up with beer can designs? This is what okay. So did they license? They had to. You can't just draw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles without having the license, right?
That's a great question. This is a local brewery called Martin House in Fort Worth, and I've loved so many of their beers. I would have to think they got permission to do this. I mean, because you can't just put this on a can like that. It is a stout. It's 10%, and this is kind of a tall boy here, and it has flavors of vanilla, caramel, fudge, and pecans. It really is delicious.
Look, why don't you just go? Look, I got a better idea. Why don't you just go down to the store, get yourself the most diluted light beer ever, and just make a root beer float out of it. Except it's right, because that's all you're doing. You're just adding sugar and ingredients and chocolate and pie and cake and peanut butter. You might as well just go make yourself a beer float. You don't have to do a root beer float. Just go make yourself a beer float.
That's not a bad idea. But this is one of my favorite breweries. And get this, man. I think I told you I meant to do these. I try not to do these streams on Fridays, but I was sick all week with a terrible cold. And I didn't even think I was going to be able to do one this week. So do you think I've been doing any drinking this week? No, this is like the first time I can imbibe. So cheers.
Well, you look very healthy and very clean shaven. You must have been fully recovered because you don't even seem like you're slightly slow right now.
I woke up feeling pretty good. And I'm going to a mini family reunion tomorrow. So I had to, clean up a little bit.
Oh, had to be presentable.
Yeah. Go Irish, by the way. Yes, we won. Clary loves the sports ball.
Good. You guys won. I'm glad you guys won. It's so good you guys win.
No, I don't really care.
The Raiders in Las Vegas, dude, I don't know who but we aren't doing that well.
We
Hang on, let me look up the Raiders. I am proud of Vegas that they got the Raiders. Hang on, Raiders. What is it?
Did you know they're getting a Major League Baseball team? Did you hear about that?
Vegas is stealing everything from California because California is filled with a bunch of affirmative action hire communists, and no one wants to be their Raiders.
It's filled with some other stuff the last few days.
Hire or whatever else.
Yeah.
What why can't I see current? Is it, you're a sports guy? Is it track record? What do I look up? Rankings, Raiders?
Just put standings in there. I mean, I'll spoil it for you. They finished dead last. So
NFL. Oh, there they are. Yeah. So interestingly enough, I am pro Vegas. I like Vegas very much. They have a great hockey team. The Golden Knights have done, yeah. They've done very well ever since they got here, but the Raiders have just been horrible. And then we're getting the Athletics
from Oakland. Yeah, get this, they're playing in Sacramento for 2 years while they build a stadium, I guess, out in Vegas. It's
probably because Oakland is dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
That's just me, I know California people, especially their women, they love having crime committed against them. They just love them criminals so much. It's like they love kissing the criminals. Like, oh my God, you're a criminal. Oh, fuck my husband. I'm not fuck my husband. I'm gonna go away. Oh, I know. So I don't know why the A's are leaving Oakland, but I'm gonna guess it has something to do with the crime that the citizens of Oakland voted for. And now they're going out to Vegas.
Well, a big part of it was the stadium issue because they've been in the Oakland Coliseum since like the 60s or 70s or something. And it's just decrepit and falling apart. And the city, they couldn't get this. Taxpayers in California, I guess to their credit, didn't want to use public funds to build a new stadium in Oakland. So Vegas said yes. And so they're splitting town.
Well, they need all that money for their fire hydrants and affirmative action hires and
fire
criminals and tent cities and free drug programs. Why would you guys want baseball in your town?
Yeah, I just can't believe that there's no water in the fire hydrants.
What do you mean? You can't really?
I didn't know it was that bad. Like I knew
okay. I am not a Democrat, right? And let's set politics aside. What do you think when you give basically adult children free reign of a municipal budget and infrastructure for decades? What do you think is going to happen?
I think we're seeing it.
Yeah, you're seeing what's happening. Yeah.
I
don't care about whether you're for poor or rich or anti-rich, you got to help the little guy. You have elected the adult children party where it's free shit and kumbaya and no serious, Chad is running a city, a serious endeavor.
I would say so, especially
yes, it is. But if you want to play Flint, Michigan, and our water went to shit, or you want to play LA, everything's on fire. But look, a black female fire chief or whoever the fuck's in charge. That's I don't care. You guys voted for it. Now your houses are gone. I wonder if there's more of that to come.
And then I heard the mayor of LA has been hanging out in Ghana for the last week for some unknown reason. It's just, man.
I would like to say corruption and all that. I think she is that dumb. Mm-hmm. I don't know who the mayor is, but it would seem to me if based on who you elect, it would seem to me someone would be tone deaf enough. Like, yeah, I think I'll go visit some relatives or whatever in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she left hasn't the fire's been going on for a week?
Yeah, it's been about a week, hasn't it?
Okay. So she left when it was happening?
She probably left before it was happening, but shouldn't she have raced back for this?
Yeah, but I'm not kidding. You have elected dumb patty cake children. Let me guess. Does she have a degree in engineering, or was she an accountant or anything serious? Or is this some nonprofit, low IQ piece of trash that you all elected because she said sweet things and nice free stuff? That's what I want to know.
My guess, and somebody in the chat can probably answer this, I think this was sort of a special type of hire, if you catch my drift.
Well, no, wasn't she elected?
Was she? Yeah, I guess you are elected mayor. Yeah, so
Yeah,
no,
you're
that would make
elected
sense.
mayor.
Yeah,
This is the people. She wasn't
so
she's
that's
not an
fair. That's
affirmative
fair.
action
Yeah,
hire. She was rightfully
did get
elected.
elected. Yeah.
Right, right. So I mean, like Lori Lightfoot,
Oh God. Well, if it was a case like where Lightfoot was elected, it was basically just bad, worse, and much worse. Like there
mhm,
were no good options. So it's
right.
probably something like
But
that.
they
Um,
offered free shit. Hey,
yeah,
Californians, how's that free shit? All that free shit you got? Now it's smoke, but how was it while you had your free shit? Was it good times?
good times. And of course, Gavin Newsom's taking a lot of heat for this too. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I'm
whatever.
sure at some state level he didn't fund the right things. You know whose problem that is, Chad?
Not ours.
Not ours. That's
Not
California.
ours.
That's your problem. That's your problem, kids.
Well, speaking of problems, as
Handling
you know,
pro?
well, you're gonna like this. Do you like Mrs. Elkins stories? Because I've got a bunch of very quick ones for you.
I don't know if I've ever been subjective to Mrs. Elkins
You
stories. I
have.
like talking to Mrs. Elkins, but I've never. Are you talking like from a held hostage, you're my son, now listen to me talk type of Mrs. Elkins
No,
stories?
just a little bit of quirky behavior. So the candidate visited. I was in Portland for the
Mhm.
holidays, as you know, which I don't really go there because I want to, but I do want to see my parents. I want to see my nephew and my sister and all that. And this year, the candidate happened to join me for part of the trip. So it was like right after she got there, of course, she's interacting with my mom a lot. And
Just
there were yeah, there were a series of like ridiculousness that okay, before I get started on these, remember that time you drove through where my parents lived and then you
yeah.
came in and she fed you lunch? What was the
Mhm.
funny part of that you like to share?
Well, that you predicted precisely that she would ask me a bunch of questions as to what
Yes.
I want. So
Yes.
she asked, like, she came out with a legitimate suitcase of tea. Would you like some tea? I'm like, yes. And then she wanted like, so I want this tea. And then she said, well, there's more options. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, okay, I'll have that tea. Okay. How many ounces do you want? And I'm like,
Exactly.
and then there were like multiple cheese selections and everything like that. So she was very, she had a lot of options. Yes.
Specific, very particular,
Very
very
precise.
detailed.
Yes.
Okay, so candidate gets there with Christmas, and then the day after Christmas, those two go shopping, my mom and the candidate. So of
Mm.
course my dad and I were just like, phew,
McClintock. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, so I took that opportunity to do some working out at home. We had some weights there, so I was just like, okay, I'm going to lift some weights. And in the middle of my workout, now I don't know about you, but I hate it when people interrupt my workout. I don't want to get a call. I don't want to deal with it. I want to work out.
Right.
So my mom tries to call me and I don't answer it. It's a missed call. So
Okay.
then immediately after that, my mom tries to call me again. So I'm like, all right, I better take this, maybe something's going on. So she's like, Chad, this is really important. We're at the grocery store and I need you to go check and see if we have any black beans. And I go, Mom, I'm where I was working out. I couldn't get you. I'm like, Mom, I can't do this. I think Dad's home. Go bother Dad, essentially.
Or spend the $1.50 on some
Oh,
black beans
you
anyway.
stole my thunder. You stole my thunder.
What?
So
Come on, who do you think I am? Let me tell you something. Well, go ahead. I'll tell you the economic thing happening here, and it even took me a while to do. But you go ahead. Tell me.
okay.
Give me your lamentations.
Well, that's pretty much it. My mom didn't understand the opportunity cost of time because my dad could not go check because he was right in the middle of something he couldn't halt. It was like a CPE or something. So I later find out from the candidate that it was a 99-cent can of black beans that my mom was just hell-bent on trying to figure out if we should buy it. And I'm like, just get it, just grab it. So finally she just grabbed it and they walked off. But yeah, so that was one thing. And by the way, these stories I'm telling you, they're out of love. I'm not bashing. It's
No,
just
I
meant
know.
to have
Yeah, no, I get it.
yeah. So that's story number one. Story number two was we had dinner that night. And of course, the candidate and I were being nice. We're like, okay, we'll clean up. And, my sister was there, my nephew, her husband's. There was a lot of people, a lot of dishes to clean.
Right.
So the candidate and I jump up. We go to the kitchen. We're about to get started. My mom goes, whoa, 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 whoa. We're like, what? She goes, I have to organize the mess before you can get started on
Nope.
cleaning it. And
Oh
we're just
God.
like,
Oh
what?
my God.
What? What are you talking
Dude, I
about?
feel so bad for Mr. Elkins now.
Oh yeah, my dad is just like tuning this out. They've been married 54 years and he is so over it. So that was the second one. The third one was or I guess this was earlier in the day. The candidate went ahead and started putting the groceries up when they got back. And my mom's like, they go here, they go there. So she's putting them up in the fridge and everything. My mom went back through everything into the fridge and in the pantry to make sure all the labels were pointing forward on everything of every little item.
I could kind of understand that. That makes sense. You could allow that one. I'll grant you. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, she started moving them around. Then it's like, and that's where I draw the like anyone. Go. Let's classic example. Aaron, go and rake the yard. Okay. I'm going to go rake the yard. And you could choose any person, any chore. I go and rake the yard. If my old man came out, well, you didn't do it right, or you're holding the rake wrong. You know what the rake wrong? You know what the answer to that is?
Who cares?
No. The answer is fine. Fuck you. Here's the rake. Do it yourself.
Oh, yeah.
People have you got to learn to outsource. And if you want someone to do it, it's classic baby boomer boss shit where I want you to do job X and you go and do job X. Or I didn't want you to do it that way. It's like, well, the job is done and here's your finished product and it's fine. Oh, but whatever, in case your mom, but well, you have to do the plates first and then the silverware second, and I don't understand it. I don't have to. If anyone does that shit to me, I'm like, no, okay, you do it. But with your mom around and knowing how precise she was and insistent, wouldn't you know to avoid that trap anyway? Is she going to do the dishes again or rearrange the pantry?
See, I know this.
Yeah.
The candidate doesn't necessarily know that. And so whenever I get up to do something, I have to sort of brace myself with, nope, this is going to be micromanaged. There's going to be OCD associated.
Well, then why are you even volunteering to do it?
That's what I told the candidate. I'm like, I know you want to be nice right now, but I promise you're going to regret this. And here, something else happened just to add to this.
Mm-hmm.
So we're finally, the mess has been organized. So we're cleaning the kitchen a little bit. I start to put the dishes in the dishwasher, and guess what? My mom goes, no. There's a special way you have to put those in the dishwasher.
No, Chad, I'm not kidding. Chad, do I like your mom?
Yes. Yeah.
I do. Do I like Mr. Elkins?
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I would say to my own mom at that time?
Do it yourself.
No, fuck you. You do it then. And I'm never doing it again. It's your job now from here on, and then you're done. This shit has got to be nipped in the bud. You can't wait till it's a 68-year-old, 70-year-old lady to be like, oh, you're doing think about the inanity of that statement. You're doing the dishes the wrong way. Unless I'm a completely art-hearted 3-year-old that doesn't know to wipe off both sides of the plate, dishes are going to get done.
Yes, exactly.
And it's just like, yeah, you should have walked away from that, right? You should have insisted the candidate walk away from it too.
It was the holidays. I was just kind of like, whatever. But you're not wrong. I think I should have at that point been like, do you want us to do this or not?
No, you don't get. It's too late now because you and your mom have been forever your entire life. I'm saying going forward for anyone else. You're at some girl's place. She made you dinner, right? And okay, I'll do the dishes. Yeah. And it's not rocket scientist. There's the rack. You do. Oh no, you have to put really at that point, like, okay, well, you do them. I'm not doing this. Like, this is you either going to try what it is, I guess, would be infantilization.
Yeah.
You will treat me as an equal adult and you will let me do the dishes. But if you like, nope, not acceptable. Done. DUN.
So my sister and my mom, they are just constantly in conflict over this exact concept. So it's kind of funny.
About how to do the dishes? Or your sister's like, I'm not doing it. You do it, Mom.
Basically, like, well, my mom will go over to my sister's place and then she will start like, pointing things out and ordering her around and everything. And my sister's like, Mom, this is my house. This is my kitchen. Get out. Yeah. But I mean, mothers and mothers and daughters have a, I think
different
it's a little
dynamic.
different.
Now, does
Yeah.
Mr. Elkins tell you where to make your bed and point your
No,
shoes?
but I have a story, last little anecdote involving my dad, involving Mr. Elkins and all this. So, actually on my last stream, the audience saw this. My parents have this 15-and-a-half-year-old mini poodle. You probably saw him one time, right? When you went through New Mexico.
Yeah,
My
I've met
parents have
that dog many times. Yeah, a little white thing.
Yeah, his name's
Yeah.
Lucky.
Mhm.
And so he's been around for a very long time, and he has become so classically conditioned to my mom nagging my dad at this point. It's hilarious. Whenever my mom comes up to kind of like nag my dad, the dog will like jump up from my dad's lap and get out in front and start growling and be like, "Grrr!"
No
like,
kidding,
go away.
really?
Yeah, the candidate
Wow.
saw it, and I record some videos. It's so hilarious. It
Dude,
is
that
so
dog
hilarious.
loves your
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah, my dad is the dog's person. Poodles get one person. It's never two. So it was just hilarious to see. But yeah, that was how my holidays went. So I hope yours went well too. I think you had some
There's
people in town.
another thing I don't remember. They blurred together. Like, how was your Christmas? I can't remember it because we didn't do anything exciting. I think we just laid around.
We had people in town, didn't you? In Vegas?
Not Christmas. No. We had New Year's time we did, but not Christmas.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was good. I just don't remember it because we didn't do anything exciting. And then plus with Vegas, you usually find dinner anytime you want. So
it's true.
Yeah, I do remember going to an Italian restaurant for New Year's Eve.
Is it one you took me to one time?
Probably.
Yeah.
Not Capo's. This is on the west side as well, called Siena.
Oh, I only went to Capo's with you.
Yeah, no, this one, and it was kind of a letdown. They really, we've gone there for New Year's a couple times, and usually it's a good deal, but man, it went to pot in terms of quality of food. Oh yeah, like the price of the quality. Like, I got these little pumpkin ravioli. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, there was like 5 of them for, I don't know, $30. And I'm kind of like, all right, well, we won't come here again. No.
Have you given up on Capo's, or do you still go there?
No, they improved. They turned around. Capo's is now my second favorite Italian restaurant. We found another one that's even better, if you can believe it. So we got blessed in that way. But yeah, those are kind of rare things, especially if we happen to find ourselves on the west side of town. The east side's got nothing. You got to be like Henderson to go to Boulder City. But yeah, so a lot of times you end up going on the west side. But no, there's thankfully still some good places to eat in Vegas.
You were not happy with them the time we all went to Capo's, the one time you took me.
Oh yeah. No, it's if I'm spending that much money and time and I got to set up reservations and you fuck it up, like, no, I'm not. So, but they have turned it around since that time.
Yeah, I will say I really liked the food I had there at Capo's. So, well, I got a pretty good topic to talk about tonight, and I think you're going to have some fun with this. Can you, Clary, does it shock you to know that there are actually some states that reduced their state income tax starting in 2025?
It does not shock me, Mr. Elkins. You want to know why?
Why?
Because your best individual client, not corporate client, your best individual client.
Well,
January 1st, New Year's Day, gets an email automatically generated from the South Dakota Department of Revenue. Says your fourth quarter sales taxes are due. So I log into the state system and I say I owe you nothing because I didn't have any clients in South Dakota. But right there when you logged in, it says update your sales tax collection to represent a decrease from 4.5% to 4.2%. So we lowered our sales tax, which is the primary tax in South Dakota, by 0.3%. So it is, but I'm in South Dakota. I'm not in one of those pro-crime, oh my God, let's burn it down, we hate white men states like California or anything else that's blue. So I don't know what those states are doing.
Well, before we get into this, why do you suppose they're doing that? You think it's an economic thing, or what do you think's going on?
You know what it is? I think, and I'm being honest, because South Dakota has pretty good finances, and South Dakota is not politically motivated as much as, say, California. I think there is a genuine statesmanship kind of ethics or morality of, we have like a little bit of a surplus, or we've done some forecasting. We don't need this much money. We're going to give some back. I mean, it's not a huge tax cut, but it's a cut. And then and they said that's the people's money. This isn't our money. Like, they view taxes as an as a necessary evil to run government services. So I think there's still statesmanship in South Dakota, whereas California, it's like, we hate rich people and vote for me, and lesbian, black vagina, fire department person, and yay, celebrate, and free cookies and all that other shit. So I don't think it's anything economic. I think they just said, we got a little bit of a surplus, so we're going to give it back.
God, it's so opposite of Illinois and several other states.
It is.
There's one of two ways we can go about this, because I have an article, and as you can imagine, the journalist is this problem glasses wearing, politically tilted one.
Nobody.
Yeah.
What's the person's name?
Here, I'll tell you. Her name is
Lindsay.
Amy, but it's spelled a very annoying way of Amy.
Of course.
How do you think it's? Yes, exactly.
Amy.
Amy, Peachy, P-I-C-C-H-I,
P-I. Oh, slow down. P-I.
C-C-H-I.
Oh, here it is. Journalist. Brunette. Looks like every other one. Yeah, okay, of course. I want to see if she is. Okay, now she has been working for CBS News, and she's about 45, maybe.
And
50.
That's the article I have. Yeah, CBS.
Okay,
News.
so here, this person should have more or less Twitter followers than me, Chad.
I'm gonna say she has less. Much.
No. Should she have more or less?
Well, if she's working for CBS, you would think more, but
she should have more. We're going to find out here. Let's take a look. She has 4,600. This is nobody. And oh yeah, look at, she's got her little tight lip. Ooh, yeah. Just, and I'm sorry, Amy. You're not a human being. It's not because I disagree with you. I just look at your face and you're exactly scripted and programmed to be what you are. There's nothing new. Chad, Amy, if you're listening, my friend Chad is about to read your article. There will be nothing surprising or informative or new in your article. So
it's somewhat informative, but she grudgingly is sharing the information.
I know. But
yeah.
So she's gonna, instead of just reporting the news, hey, this is what happened economically. Some states happen to be lowering tax, and it's gonna hurt the women and the minorities and the children. No, Republican. I don't need to see her in the writing. Right. You know what I'm saying? All right. So
I know. Yes. There's a layer of, you'll be able to tell. But
she hates it that the citizens are getting their money back. Okay. Fuck you, Amy. There. How's that?
Well, here's what I wanted to ask you. What would be more fun for you if I read the article and we go over state by state that's doing this, or do you want to try guessing the states?
Oh, I love games. Let's do the guessing game. Remember that time you said I couldn't pass the enrolled agent test?
Yeah.
And I flew through with flying colors?
Time out, you guys. If you're really worried about passing the EA exams, I promise you, with just a little bit of studying, it's really not that hard.
I would not now tell them the opposite, because now you're going to, it's easy.
All right.
It's easy. Don't waste your time studying half-ass. Study your ass off so you pass it once and you're done.
Be committed to it. Okay, how about this? Work hard, be committed to studying, but don't be afraid of it. I've gotten some emails where people are like, I'm scared of taking it. I'm like, no. All right. There's 9 states, Clary, that
9 states,
9 that as of January 1st, 2025 are trying to help their fellow citizens. And so whenever you guess one, I'll read the snippet of the article and we'll talk about it. And I'll have some things to talk about the states too.
Okay. But, so how am I supposed to guess? You can give me clues or what?
Well, that's what I was going to go over with you. Like, do you want to be random? Do you want, parts of the country?
Let me ask some questions to see if you said there's 9.
9, yeah.
It's going to
be
hard.
You haven't mentioned them yet.
Yeah, I know, but it's going to be hard to figure out which ones they are, simply because there are other non-political things that could be affecting them for why they might lower their taxes.
Let me give you what should be a pretty big hint. Obviously, it's not going to be anything close to a California or Illinois or similar states.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say, here's another question. Are they lowering income taxes, sales taxes?
Income taxes.
Income taxes. So
in general, there's a few. Yeah.
Okay, so it ain't going to be Texas, Tennessee, Wyoming. We can already eliminate
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, this is clear. If a state doesn't have an income tax, they're not
They're
on this
not
list.
on that list.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go Utah, Arizona.
We'll do
What?
one at a time. We'll do one at a time.
Okay,
like each
Utah.
guess.
Did I guess it correct?
Utah is not on the list, and
Okay,
neither is Arizona, surprisingly. Yeah.
Boy. Okay, those would have been
Yeah.
the two. Not New Mexico because they're blue.
New Mexico is on the list.
What?
Believe it or not.
What?
I was as surprised as
What?
you. Yeah, I was as surprised as you. Yeah.
Okay.
So why don't I read the New Mexico paragraph? I won't share the screen. I'll just read it.
Yeah, just read it. Yeah.
New Mexico, and remember this liberal journalist. New
Liberal
Mexico,
yes.
New Mexico represents the only state with an income tax reduction on January 1st that supports a Democratic trifecta, meaning its legislature is controlled by the party, while its governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham, is also a Democrat. Starting on January 1st, New Mexico's individual income tax brackets will be reduced for all residents, with the biggest cuts aimed at low and middle income taxpayers, the Tax Foundation noted. Government Grisham's office said in a statement last year that a married couple filing jointly would save about $303 under a year under the new tax bracket. So we're not saying major savings.
But it helps, kids' Christmas gifts.
The state will now have 6 brackets versus 5 in 2024, with rates ranging from 1.5% to 5.9%. Some tax rates will remain the same, but others will change. For instance, the lowest bracket was 1.7% in 2024, according to local publication Source NM. So I was surprised about that too, that New Mexico would be part of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, it happens. I mean, Minnesota, even under Democrat governors, would occasionally have a tax rebate if they had a little bit of surplus. They would talk about it. And I think Democrats, look, not all Democrats are California Democrats. There are some who just, you're misled. You didn't study economics, but your heart probably is in the right place. You want to help out because they disproportionately helped out the poor people. Yeah. And I'm all for that. You're working poor or whatever else, give them their money back. And so here's this gal who's upset that people are getting their money back.
Right. And I want to say one thing. So my parents are New Mexico residents. And so, whether misguided or not, that state does seem to try to help the lower income people that live there. The only other thing I wanted to tell you about this, which I think you're going to find interesting, is that my father has had a few mix-ups with the New Mexico Taxation and Revenue Department. And he described the people who work there as being, quote, the dumbest human beings on the entire planet. So just keep that in mind.
Hold on. Your dad went from a no income tax state, Texas, to New Mexico. And your dad is a CPA.
Remember what I've told you about my parents and their political...
And that's my third thing. And he's a Democrat, right?
Yeah. You
know whose problem that is?
It's theirs.
It's his problem. There you go.
Yeah. But he was really not impressed with their taxation department.
I am waiting for... See, what gets me is your old man ain't dumb.
No.
He's very intelligent. And yet they still can't make the connection. Voting in free shit and hiring dumb people and for example... complicating a situation or complicating a system where now you got an income tax as opposed to just one sales tax. Does he like sitting in the DMV?
No, I don't know why. It's just that for years I've been trying to kind of get through to him about this, but I mean, the guy turned 80 last year. We're not going to change anything at this point.
No.
So 1 down, 8 to go. We got New Mexico. There are no more liberal. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Okay. All right. But all right. I'm going to go with what are the Carolinas, South or North Carolina?
North Carolina is another one on the list. I didn't know if I should call that liberal or not. Isn't it kind of...
No, it's pretty conservative. North Carolina.
Is it?
The Carolinas are generally, yeah.
Yeah. Now, North Carolina, whose legislature is controlled by the Republican Party while its governor is a Democrat, will cut its tax rate to 4.5% on January 1st, down from 4.75% in 2024. So that's a good cut. that's not the last reduction, as the individual tax rate will once again drop in 2026 to 3.99%, according to an organization there. What do you think about that?
I think that's good. I would be a little concerned to make sure their long-term budgeting is correct. Like they got maybe a rainy day fund. I don't know if they have a balanced budget amendment over at North Carolina, but yeah, as long as, you know, I'm all for as low as taxes as possible, but you also have to have good fiscal management. You can't just cut taxes to the point that
Right.
it bankrupts the state, and then you got to jack them up later in the next year anyway. So I like to see that, but that's and I'm sure when we're talking about income statement here, you said they went from basically 4 to 3%. Like, oh, are their revenues going to drop by 25%? No, because they have other forms of taxation, no doubt. So it really is state by state. But yeah, I like this. That's good. I like to see taxes go down.
And I want to stress, we're only talking about income taxes in this stream, state income taxes. So the only thing I want to add to this is that I've had to prepare the occasional North Carolina state tax return. It's actually fairly straightforward, and their Department of Revenue has a very good reputation for being well run and responsive. So I'm a big fan of North Carolina. Yeah.
May I point out that's probably because they have a simple tax. What was it? It was just one rate,
one
right?
Flat tax rate. Yeah.
New Mexico has how many?
6 now.
6.
Yeah. No, North Carolina is good. So good job. We got 2 down, 7 more. Where are you thinking next?
All right. So we got the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Alaska does have a tax. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go up Montana.
Montana is not on the list. I would have thought they were on the list too, but they have a pretty simple tax return too. I've done
well, I mean, but so did North Carolina. Okay, what about Idaho? Is Idaho on there?
Let me see. You know, Idaho didn't make the list.
Man, none of the mountains. All right, forget. I'm leaving the West. I'm going to go on the other side of the Mississippi. I'm going to go and assume there are some blue-collar Democrats who still think it's 1988, and we're shocked to find out the modern Democrats want to basically kill them. And so I'm going to say it's one. I'm going to go Wisconsin is lowering their taxes.
To say it, man, but Wisconsin did not make the list either. Yeah, this is good. You're making you think. Pennsylvania is not on the list.
What the?
But you're getting close with all of these.
Well, there's nothing but the coast is left. All right,
Midwest,
Michigan.
Michigan did not make the list.
Because that's Whitmer. Yeah, I wouldn't get. Oh wait, Iowa.
Iowa made the list, and I'm glad you. We have an Iowan in the chat. He's one of my clients who found me through you, and his name is.
Can you count to 6? That's some joke of Iowa humor.
Well, I'll read the snippet of the Iowa portion here. And Mark, you are the only Iowa return I prepare every year, but I had done several for other people before that, so Iowa I'm pretty familiar with. The article states, Iowa, which also has a Republican trifecta controlling its state house and governor's office, it's trimming its individual income tax rate to a flat rate of 3.8% starting on January 1st, down from a top tax rate of 5.7% in 2024. The new flat tax rate was signed into law by Governor Kim Reynolds in May, who, along with the state lawmakers, have argued that the state was collecting too much money from its residents, the publication noted.
Interesting.
So they're giving it back to their people. I admire that.
I know, and it pisses off this worthless fraud of journalists, Amy. What's her last name?
It was Peachy,
whatever. Okay, Miss Nobody, who's like 50 years old, gonna die in 20 years, and that will be her entire life. Okay.
And I'll read this comment. Mark was just saying that as of 2022, the top state income tax rate was 8.98%, as low as 78K. So they had a pretty high rate for a while. So they're giving them a break.
Yeah. Iowa occasionally goes Democrat more than you would think. I don't have time to take that call. All right. So we got Iowa. Now we got 3 out of
3
the 9.
down. We got 6 more to go.
6 more to go. I still have it in my mind. There is a blue collar rust belt, and you said no to Pennsylvania. I'm gonna go, and I wasn't gonna guess Michigan because when you said Midwest, I was like, well, that's the only one. What about Ohio? Is Ohio going to be?
You know what? See, when I first started reading this article, I thought Ohio would have been on there, but Ohio actually didn't make the list.
Didn't make the list. Boy, then
Yeah.
this okay.
You're so close. You've named all the states.
Well,
around
Kentucky, then they're kind of.
It is not Kentucky. So what's the one state in that region
That
you
whole
haven't
West
named?
Virginia?
Oh, yeah, West Virginia. Yeah, you're
Okay.
correct about West Virginia. Yeah, let me get to the West Virginia part here. West Virginia is obviously red, you know.
Yeah.
West Virginia residents will see their income taxes reduced by 4%, by about 4% after the state, with a Republican-controlled legislature and a Republican governor, booked an annual revenue surplus. So they had a surplus there.
Okay.
The top tax rate will be reduced from 5.12% in 2024 to 4.82% on January 1st, according to the Tax Foundation. Governor Jim Justice has also pushed for steeper reductions, noting in July that, quote, "We need to continue marching towards eliminating the personal income tax." That's a good comment. Yeah.
Nice.
The only thing I want to say about West Virginia is that West Virginia is the one state I have never seen nor prepared any type of West Virginia tax return. I don't even know what it looks like. So
It's very pretty. The part I drove through it,
Yeah.
straight west of DC. I drove through it on my motorcycle. It's very nice in rolling hills, very pretty from what I saw. But I did not see the Who Dang Diggly, stereotype meth head trailer park.
Yeah.
But the northern part of that state was very pretty.
Yeah, I've driven through it, but I've never stayed there, like in West Virginia. So,
all right. Well, the other one was Indiana.
Indiana, yeah,
one.
Indiana,
right.
yeah. Let me go up to the Indiana section. Okay, Indiana, whose state legislature is controlled by GOP lawmakers and whose governor, Eric Holcomb, is a Republican, will shave its income tax rate to 3% in 2025, down from 3.05% in 2024. So nothing crazy, but it helps.
Okay. All right. Everyone gets to buy themselves a beer.
Yeah. That's a fairly small savings for middle-class residents, according to local news outlet IPB News, which estimates that the reduction will result in a tax cut of just $33 for a worker earning $65,000 a year. Okay, so not a lot. Clary, why do I not like Indiana in terms of taxes? Like, why
local
do I
income
not?
taxes?
Yes, they have this god awful. Like, I have to do a sizable amount of Indiana state returns because there are some Chicago residents Chicago workers that live in Indiana.
Yeah.
So I really freaking hate those tax returns. It is so unnecessarily long and complex for like almost no dollar amounts. So anytime a state has a local income tax thing that you have to like reconcile, I freaking hate it. Can you name it? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the fact you have to file, I don't care how low it is, the fact you have to file it, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
so it's what,
I hate
Ohio,
that.
Indiana, there's a couple towns in Colorado.
Pennsylvania.
Is Pennsylvania got some local income
Pennsylvania
tax?
very much does. And you named Ohio is the worst with the local income taxes. I hate doing Ohio returns because of that.
Yeah, I mean, not to point this out too, because those states are all right in a row. You got Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, all on the Ohio River there. Not to point it out to you guys, you guys kind of already suck as states. It's cold, it's snowy. Pennsylvania's got some mountains, but you don't have any industry left anymore or coal mines. If you could stop being the entitled fat chick at a party and maybe either lose some weight or humble yourselves a little bit and streamline. I'm not saying lower your taxes overall, but make it easier for the citizens to pay the taxes. And if you could unburden them with that, that'd be great. But I don't know, if you want to be the lippy fat chick who thinks she's entitled to a 10, go ahead.
Yeah. So what does that make? 5 states that we've named. So we just have 4 more.
4 more. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess. Let's go south. I'm going to guess Alabama.
Alabama did not make the list.
Mississippi.
To my surprise. Yeah, Mississippi made the list.
All right.
The snippet. Mississippi, which also has a Republican legislature and governor, will reduce its individual income tax rate to 4.4% on January 1st, down from 4.7% in 2024. So that's a good reduction. That might not be the last tax reduction for Mississippi residents, as Governor Tate Reeves, that's a Southern name, Tate Reeves.
Tate Reeves.
Tate Reeves is pushing to entirely phase out the state's individual income tax.
Wow.
Arguing that the move would help it to compete with Florida and other
Tennessee.
states. And Tennessee, that don't have states, no income tax in those states. And he has a quote: "If we want to continue to see the kind of economic development successes that we've had, we've got to be competitive from a tax standpoint," Reeves said in November. I think that's a very sound way of looking at this.
Here's the other thing I don't get about income tax. Right? Let's say you eliminate income tax, right? There's 9 states ain't got the income tax.
Yeah.
Does that mean there's no taxes?
No, there's property taxes, sales taxes, gas tax.
I want lower taxes so I don't pay as much, but I think the entire argument for eliminating the income tax is it to make it easier for the state to collect it and for the citizens to pay it.
Yes.
Again, we've argued about sales taxes, and South Dakota has a very high property tax. Property taxes are very high in South Dakota, but this is it shows you how short-sighted, blind, and frankly jealous and envious Democrats are, where they can't give up the income tax because that's how they punish rich people. It's like, look, dude, you can have all your parasitic welfare collecting voters, fine, increase the spending if you have to, but can you make it easy for everyone, including all your EBT parasitic welfare collecting voters? Can you make it easier for them so they don't have to file an income tax? It's just so simple.
I think it's what's really encouraging for me about all this is that, as you've heard me, quite a few of them are like, why do we even need an income tax? Let's just ditch it.
Right. Oh, it's one of the most inefficient way to collect taxes. There's way better ways to do it. Yeah.
It would make my job easier.
Well, do you remember, I think it was Oregon and other self-loathing states were thinking about doing a mileage tax where you'd have to write down your mileage. Chad, why is that dumb? What is already in place that you can increase to get the mileage tax?
Well, you mean the gas taxes?
The gas tax.
Yeah.
Increase your gas tax. You don't need to develop this where people got to take their mileage down and fucking file it away. I mean, you guys are also short-sighted.
Yeah. Well, man, we got 3 more. You think you can get them?
Well, yeah, I know all states of the country. I'm just guessing now. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to it. So
it's random.
It's kind of random. All right. So I'm gonna go up to the Northeast. Let's say it's not gonna be Connecticut because they hate money.
I'm gonna do you a favor and tell you nobody in the Northeast is
really
trying to reduce taxes.
Okay. All right. I was gonna guess like New Hampshire. No, not New Hampshire. Maine. Let's go Georgia.
You know, Georgia didn't make it. I would have thought that they would. Although, hold on. I want to say the real Uncle Hector was in here earlier. If I can find that comment. I can't find it. He had an interesting point about Georgia. Give me just 1 second. I should have started because this was a really interesting thing he had to say. Give me 1 sec here.
I'm going to pull up a map of the United States because I'm running out of states. I was horrible at this. This is bad.
Oh, here you go. Georgia started a flat tax of 5.39% in 2024, which will be reduced each year by 0.1% until it reaches 4.99% in 2028. So that's good.
Okay. I got a map here of the United States. We did the Carolinas. We did the Ohio Valley. What about Kansas?
No, Kansas didn't make it, but you're getting very close to
Nebraska. That's the only one left.
Nebraska. Yeah.
All right.
Let me find Nebraska. Nebraska residents will see their income tax rate decline to 5.2% on January 1st, down from 5.84% in 2024. So that's a pretty good drop, the Tax Foundation said. The Republican Party controls the state legislature, while the state's governor is also a member of the GOP. So Nebraska,
Nebraska.
They're trying to
do
better.
We're running out of states here.
Let me just with Nebraska, just real quick. Like West Virginia, I have never ever prepared a Nebraska state tax return. I have no idea what it looks like. I know nothing about it. So continue.
You are allowed to pay in corn in Nebraska. That's also an accepted source of currency. We're down to very limited states here. Louisiana.
You got it.
All right. Okay.
Louisiana. Okay. Another state with a Republican trifecta in the state house and governor's office, Louisiana is cutting its individual income tax rate to a flat rate of just 3% starting January 1st.
Goodness, what the hell?
Down from a graduated tax with a top rate of 4.25% in 2024. That's a huge cut, actually.
That is significant.
Taxpayers in Louisiana who earn between $30,000 to $40,000 a year, which is the largest number of taxpayers in any bracket in the state, will see their state taxes reduced by 50% to $338 a year, according to an analyst from some organization. Now, Clary, there's a catch to this.
Yeah.
The state's sales tax will jump to 5% in 2025.
They got to click. Yeah, they got to get their taxes from somewhere. But look, now y'all don't have to file they're going the right way. Yeah.
And that's up from 4.45% in 2024. So you get a better, the income taxes are reduced by more than the sales taxes are going up. So you still come out ahead.
By that time, why not just eliminate the whole, really, can't Republicans reach across the aisle, say, look, can we just do this for all citizens? Get rid of this income tax and we'll give you more money or whatever on the backside. They're going the right way, but now they still got to file a tax return is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I have never, ever prepared or seen a Louisiana state tax return before, so I have no idea what that's like.
You pay with Creole. That's what you
Creole.
Pay. Creole. Boy, we're down Missouri or Arkansas.
Missouri. It's Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me read you the Missouri. Another state with a Republican-controlled legislature and Republican governor, Missouri will trim its state income tax to 4.7% on January 1st, down from 4.8% in 2024. So nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy.
The cut is the fifth income tax reduction under Governor Mike Parson, who is announcing the cut earlier this year, who earlier this year touted the state's economy, which he said added 70,000 jobs in 2024 and ranks, quote, first in the nation for job growth. I don't know if that's true.
Sure. No, I'm not gonna. No. That whenever a politician claims they created X many jobs, they're liars.
I'm not buying that either.
I don't care if it's Republican or Biden. They're lying. They didn't create the jobs.
I've done several Missouri state tax returns before, as you can imagine, because we're next to Illinois. There's one thing I don't like about Missouri's tax situation. You want to guess what it is?
Missouri, we're talking income tax?
Yes.
Name
the two major cities in Missouri.
St. Louis and Kansas City.
Kansas City. They impose an earnings tax on those who work in that city. So
because they're over in Kansas all the time?
Yeah, because they're in Kansas or they're across the Mississippi and Illinois. So that can get kind of annoying if you're doing a Missouri state tax return. So they're not perfect, but I'm glad they're cutting that rate.
Well, that's good. That's good.
That was all I really had as far as this article goes. But just some conclusions. Now, Clary, now that we've gone over this article, where are the best states to be living in the United States?
I would say if you want, depends on who you are, what you want in life, but go get the book Reconnaissance Man. And it goes through all of them. But I would just me personally, the best state. Wait, are you saying there's an article about what the best states are to live in the United? Okay.
I want your opinion.
My opinion I'll even organize it for you, Chad. You ready?
Please do. Yeah.
Okay. The best state to live in is South Dakota, but that's assuming you're me. I'd say the second best state to live in the United States would be
Texas.
No, not that it's just big. I'm gonna go with Nevada. I really like Nevada.
So the places you live are your top
two places I live are my favorite. Imagine that. No bias whatsoever. Third, I'm gonna go Tennessee.
Okay, Tennessee.
Fourth would be Washington State, as long as you stay out of Seattle because of the mountains. I know. They're not. We're going down the list now.
Yeah.
Where am I? Texas.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I'll take Texas before Washington State.
I was gonna
Then,
say, would you
yeah.
really want to live in Seattle?
Yeah, you're
before
right.
Dallas,
No,
Fort Worth?
it's still then Washington State, and then I don't know, Alaska or New
Alaska.
Hampshire, depending on how much you like the cold. It kind of falls apart from there. But those would be my favorite. And then in terms of taxes, I like Arizona. I really like Arizona, and Utah is a great state if you're okay paying a small income tax. But Utah, I'd almost move to Utah before I'd go live in Tennessee or Texas or Washington State.
So you must not be a fan of Florida at all, are you?
Oh shit, Florida's in there. Fuck.
Yeah. It's hot.
Yeah, if you're old, it's a
Texas.
great place. Like if you're old and you love food more than you love your wife or sex, I'd go to Florida because there's lots of food there and golfing. Yeah, but that just not for me. Too flat. But I did like Florida. I would go. All right, shit. Now we got to think about this again. South Dakota, Nevada. Throwing in Utah, Tennessee, Arizona. I hate to say this, Chad. Florida, then Texas.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Not everybody loves it here. You've never been to New Hampshire, have you?
No, have no desire.
I haven't either, so I don't know. The last one I want to mention, I know you've been to this state, and I don't think you like it.
Wyoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you live there again or no?
If I had independent wealth and could build a legit cabin away from everyone, there's some parts of Wyoming that are nice, but it gets cold and it's windy. So I really don't like the cold, and I'm not that much of an introvert. But if you like winter and you want to be left the fuck alone, there's some places in Wyoming you can go be left alone. Yep.
Do you know who once drove diagonally across the state of Wyoming?
Our good friend Atham Eldecua.
Yes. And I want to say I've never been to that state, so I have never had the pleasure of seeing what Wyoming is like.
Next time you come visit South Dakota, we will drive across the highway or across the state line. We'll go to Wyoming. So you said you've been there, and we're going to go to what is the best steakhouse out in that area.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a small little town called Beulah, Wyoming.
Beulah.
Atham can look it up.
Another state I've never been to, which I don't know if you'd want to go there, but I've never been to Nebraska either. You wouldn't want to drive to Nebraska. You don't want to. Okay.
Dude, I've driven across all the plain states, right? North Dakota, Kansas, and you'd think they'd be boring. There's some about Nebraska where you're just like, oh my God, this is the worst ever. I've driven across Saskatchewan, and even there's some about Nebraska that is just mind-numbingly boring. So there's in the northwest part of the state, there's some fossils and agates. It's pretty cool, but they just grow corn there and chase tornadoes. That's it. What's
that city? Is it Chaddock or something like that? That's not far from Rapid City. What's the airport?
Chadron.
Chadron. Yeah, I knew it was Chad something.
Oh, yes.
All right. Well, any final thoughts we got some super chats and some comments, but any thoughts about what we just went over? I mean, there's good places to live and
yeah, no, I mean, surprised. Most of them are Republicans. I like to see that the Democrats are considering the people, and I think that's good statesmanship on their part. They're like, no, people need money. We're not the end all be all. I hope they maintain their finances as well. You don't want to cut too much. And maybe what we might be seeing is governments moving away from a pension, and they've been switching over to defined contribution.
Plans,
so they got their 457. Maybe now they're like, they got a better handle what future expenses are like. So, okay, we can start lowering them down. So that's all good. But Chad, none of this matters. I mean, we could talk about which states are the best, where to move to. But none of it matters unless you have one thing.
Well, oh, wow. I don't know what you're going to say there.
Well, I guess, Chad, can you pick up and move anytime you want?
I can. Oh, I see where you're going.
Yes, can I pick up and move anytime I want?
Yes.
Why can we do that?
We happen to have location independent situations going on in terms of how we earn our money. And,
Right.
this is an accounting channel. And I think if you're trying to get into that situation, including moving abroad, you really need to consider a career in this.
A
So,
career that allows you to be remotely and
y-
independently
yeah,
employed. Is there such
yeah.
a career or an industry that also has a shortage going on at the moment and
I
is
was
probably the quickest way to become remotely and self-employed? Is there an industry in this world that exists like that?
so there's the accounting industry, and I was going to do this at the
Accounting, you
end.
say?
Clary, I didn't have a voice until like yesterday, so I don't know if I can do the enthusiastic.
Well, you do it bad anyway. All right, I'll do it. So, but okay, so the
Yeah.
accounting industry, interesting. Tell me more.
So, how would you like to get into the accounting industry?
Shucks, howdy, would I? Is there a way?
Is
What
there
if I
some
don't know
sort of
where to start,
guide or
Chad?
some sort of how would this happen? What's the first thing you should do
Well,
to try to
I don't know about you, Chad, but if it were up to me, I would create a course, right?
really? Is
And I
there
would put it on Teachable, and you know what I'd name it?
what would you name
The world's greatest accounting career.
it?
And then people who are interested in this field. Now, here's the thing: to make it extra special and accurate, I'd consult you because you are a remotely self-employed CPA accountant. Like you're the guy.
Yeah.
And so I'd consult you, make sure all that wisdom and information was put in there. So, Chad, let me ask you this: if Chad, who is 44 now,
Ish, yeah.
if you could go back and tell 30-year-old Chad where to go and what to do, would you have saved yourself a tremendous amount of time? In other words, would the Chad of almost 15 years ago have benefited from this course if we were to create such a course?
Clary, do you know how much this cost me?
$100,000.
100 if you include living expenses, and that doesn't include, opportunity cost of
Opportunity
money I
cost.
would have earned. I just yes, you don't have to go to college, grad school, get your master's to be a CPA. You just don't have to do it. You
So
don't.
if this theoretical cost existed back in your day, and let's just say it was 150 bucks, all right? Hang on. That would have provided you
Lot of benefit.
a 66,600. No, did I do that right? No, that is right. A 66,000% rate of return.
Yeah, I have to say, you guys, I had an enjoyable time at Notre Dame. Yes, there were douchebag MBAs. I'm still friends with some of them,
Sports
but
ball?
sports ball. Clary, I shit you not, and this includes Cuddlewookums. I think maybe that was probably the biggest mistake of my life. Was
Really?
getting that. Yeah, because $100,000, man, like just wiped away by something I didn't need to do. I still beat myself up over that. I do.
Well, I mean, at least you didn't major in. Doesn't Cuddlewookums got like a master's in literature or some bullshit like that?
You mean the influencer
Whatever. I mean, like you at least got an MBA, allowed you to go and sit for your
Yeah,
CPA. So I mean, or a master's in
yeah,
accounting. Sorry. Anyway, the
did.
short version is, don't be like. Look, do you want to be more successful than Chad
Yes,
and
everybody.
$100,000 ahead of the game? Go take the world's greatest accounting career. Presume you have it linked below.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, link below.
yeah.
It's on Teachable, and Chad and I put together a course that basically teaches you how to quickly and rapidly and cheaply become an accountant, both reliably, traditionally employed if you're a corporate man, or what we prefer is independently and remotely employed.
Yeah.
And Peter Franklin, I guess one of our
Parker Franklin.
I'm
He
sorry,
was in the
Parker
chat
Franklin.
earlier. He was in the
Yeah,
chat. Yeah.
he's striking out on his own this year.
He is about to get
Yep.
started,
Yep.
and I am going to send him a few referrals because I'm just that type of guy.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that is
So
so good.
yeah, if you wanted the world's greatest accounting career, it's linked below.
Yes.
Actually, we should probably change like instead of like, oh my god, whiz bang and flash, we should pick nah, you don't really want this. Play more cool, more coy.
Yeah.
It's not for you. You can't handle it. It's too elite. It's too fancy.
So tax season is pretty much here, you guys, and there's been all these panicky articles about people who can't find tax professionals. So you really need to get into this field if you want location independence.
I had people in the chat room like, "There's no shortage, and you can't find no." I'm like, take the course. You know what? There is no shortage of journalism majors. Okay,
Journalism
yeah, I'll
majors.
tell you that. I mean, there's a lot worse things you could do than
You mean
than
like
that.
Amy Peachy or whatever her name was?
Amy
Yeah.
Peachy, who we don't even have to look her up. You want to know why we don't have to look up the details about her?
Because they're irrelevant. Who cares?
They're not human. They're the
Right.
same robot. It just doesn't matter. It's the same person.
Clary, this isn't a super chat, but I am going to read it because I think you'll like this. This is from Bryce T. Chad, did you see the Ohio governor signed a bill to reduce the 150 credits requirement for the CPA? So starting on January 1st, 2026, you just need a bachelor's in accounting and
Nice.
2 years of work experience or a master's and 1 year of work experience. To me, that seems fair.
Mhm.
I feel like that's a good way of doing it, and other states should follow.
Wasn't Minnesota also kind of on the of all places? Minnesota was.
Believe it or not, Minnesota was one of the early ones that was just like, I think we need to change this. I have to give them some credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who knows? By 2037, they might have enough accountants by this time.
Yeah, you know, I will say I get people that tell me we should want this shortage. We shouldn't try to get it solved. And I'm just like, man, tax season is getting absolutely insane. They need a few more people in this field. So yeah. Here we go.
Dicastinator, $5. Just started a business. Was curious on how to do quarterly tax estimates, like how to submit them, and just other things that I should know. Thanks.
I want to let Clary answer this one because he has a unique approach to submitting quarterly estimated taxes, at least in terms of timing, among my clients.
All right. So the way I'm going to give you that I do is for federal only because I don't pay income taxes locally. So what I do is I take basically 30% of my gross income, I divide it by 4, and that's my standard quarterly tax I pay. And then I ballpark it plus or minus a little bit, depending on, oh, do I have more book sales? Did I have less consulting based on my income? And then the way you pay it is you file out 1040 ES, the estimated tax form. You get a little voucher. You can find the PDF file for that.
Or you can pay online.
Or you can pay online, but then you have troubles with it, like the credit card got co-opted or some other shit.
There's always a risk, but yeah.
And that's why I have been paying quarterly taxes, God.
A long time now.
Yeah,
right?
quarter century, maybe even more.
Predates me.
Yeah. And I've always put in the mailed copy with the carbon copy of my check.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the instructions on that form, the 1040 ES form. Mail it in. And here's where Chad and I are going to disagree. I mail it in. Like this year, I fucked up. I didn't mail in my first quarter. Well, I haven't been able to mail it in because there isn't a 1040 form for 2025 yet. So I'm sitting waiting. But I like to mail it the day of. So when I get the notification from the South Dakota sales tax department, which is the day,
yes,
I go and I cut a check to the federal government. And if you're in the state, you do the same thing. State, I'd say what, 7% divide by 4, and that should cover it.
Yeah, I think so. That'll probably cover it. I just have one follow-up question. What does your GF think of your philosophy?
Oh, she's with you. She's 100%. Yeah. She's not as agitated. She more rolls the eyes and it kind of laughs at your pain a little bit, but she's on your side. Yeah.
What I think is so funny is you pay your Q1 2025 taxes before most of my people pay their Q4 2024 taxes.
Which client would you want to have a bunch of Aaron's as clients or a bunch of those normies extension filers?
In terms of organization and being on top of things, which I think your GF has something to do with, I have to give you credit.
It's all you. You think she puts the gun to my head? I want this shit done as quickly as possible.
You're doing it. You're doing it right in terms of getting me everything I need to do your taxes. So I'll give you a shout out for that. This isn't a super chat, but I need to read it to you because I think you'll appreciate it. From Ray John. Quit gaming 6 months ago. Bought a new car. I have an amazing new girlfriend. I make a shitload of money, and I'm buying a house this spring. I party every weekend. I'm never home. Assuming you're telling the truth, Ray John, I appreciate and I hope you are. I'm glad you're not sending perverted super chats or even perverted comments anymore. I don't know. Do you think he's telling the truth?
No. 6 months
Because
ago, your finances don't recover that quickly in 6 months.
yeah, that's
6
fair.
months? You don't buy a new car. And Ray John wouldn't buy a new car because he listens to us. He would get a used car. He would. Amazing new girlfriend. Nope. Shitload of money. Nope. Buying a new home. No. And I probably no. He's joking. He's pulling our leg. He knows.
Yeah, he lives in Canada as well. So.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have that much fun in Canada, Ray John.
You mean the 52nd state of the U.S.?
Christoph and on $5. California can't put out fires while running insane debt. Russia under budget in wartime. Enjoy the decline.
Yeah.
Christoph's in Russia. He lives there now.
That's right. He sends us the occasional email discussing that.
King Crab, $2. Happy New Year. Let's see if 4 jobs for 4 months works. Oh, he's gonna burn the
Yeah. King Crab, sometime after tax season, we'll get you on for a third time because believe it or not, and Claire, you know more about this than me, but I get a ton of views when I get King Crab on because it's related to bookkeeping, and I guess a lot more people are tuning in for that lately.
Does he have a significant following?
He does have a YouTube channel, and Crab, if you're still here, you can answer it. But maybe you're getting a following which I'm not aware of. So
everyone's worried about how many subscribers you have. That doesn't matter. It's how many views you got. How loyal is your audience?
Okay.
King Crab may have a small subscriber number, but he may have a very loyal audience, and they show up in numbers. Because I got 127,000 subscribers. Maybe 10,000 of which are any kind of regular viewers at any given moment. So yeah, he could just have a really loyal following.
Well, I told you about this, but I randomly lost like 200 subscribers a few weeks ago. I think it was bots, but
you never had those subscribers. You got to. Those weren't humans. Those weren't people.
They were bots.
Do you know how many fans and hot girls want to meet me on all the different social media platforms? Can you imagine? Get this, that Asian girl who's like pining all like that. Apparently that's not a real person. Can you imagine that?
You're kidding. No.
But she wanted my money. She wanted to like donate to something. I had to go like, yeah, it's weird, man. I thought I was Mac Daddy.
Never heard of anything like that.
This Hanyaker for $1 with a super sticker. Do you know what it is?
Shoot, I don't think we can see it, but give me 1 second. I'm hoping it's a cat farting or something like that. It is something I can't see. So, yeah.
Chase Robideau, $2. Colorado reduces this year. Does it?
Interesting.
Did Polis really?
Isn't Colorado kind of a blue state now?
No, it's a very blue state. They're the first to legalize pot, and it ruined the state. Now every douchebag criminal, forget the potheads, all the criminals and the losers and the welfare collectors went in. Denver is a shithole now, but they got what they got, free pot, so it's all worth it now. They got free pot.
Yeah, I saw that tweet that Myron or whoever it was that said that anybody who smokes pot is a loser, and then you retweeted it, and I was like, well, hey man, do you know?
He said pothead.
Pothead.
There's a difference.
Yeah, I don't
like
think
if you occasionally do it, that's fine. But if you're a Coloradan and like you move to states so you can do pot, you're a fucking loser.
That's fair.
That's pretty much it. Yeah,
that's fair. I'll read these next two because I like him so much from Bull Muscle. Geez, Chad is only 6 years younger than Cappy. He looks 20 years younger. Well, thank you. Thank you, Bull Muscle.
Look, I'm glad I shaved today. 5 o'clock shave. He looks old and shit.
Yeah, Chad is looking pretty solid for 44. Well, thank you, Bull.
You know, Bull, why don't you go join Atham's sister, the traitor? And you know, if you like Chad so much, why don't you go marry him, Bull Muscle? You and Samantha.
Yeah. Did you hear that, candidate? She's watching in the other room. Alex Patino.
Alex Patino, a truck driving Latino agent in the field. Happy New Year's 10 days after. Happy New Year's, Alex.
Well, Happy New Year's, man. Thanks for hanging out. That's actually all we got in terms of super chats. Is there anything you want to hawk or besides what we already did?
No, yeah, I mean, there's the world's greatest accounting career. Take that course if you're interested in what a career accounting is like. I mean, go through there's an outline there, so you could, waste your time. But yeah, if you want the quickest way to become employed, and I would also, I don't just say it because we make money on it. We make money on it, sure. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, as even after we put together that course, there's not really a better, more quick route to self-employment and remote employment. I mean, there's IT, but you got to earn your way into it. There's such a shortage, and it's relatively easy, and you don't have to go to college. You can go to college cheaply. There's a lot of options for you. So take a look at that. The world's greatest accounting career. Use Chad's link below. Why do they do
Yes.
that, Chad?
Because I get a little bit of a commission if you use the affiliate link. But outside of that, it is a very good course. I believe that people who take this course can really get on a quick trajectory to work remotely.
And save $100,000.
Yeah.
In a master. Right. And if you use Chad's link, it's basically stealing money from me and giving it to Chad. He's taking my money. So is that. The only other thing is look for my next book coming out probably in 2 weeks.
Soon.
Maybe 3. Yeah. I'm barreling through it here, called Zero World Problems, which is the sequel. It's not a sequel, but it's beyond First World Problems. So it's what standards of living, whole new set of economic standards of living to pursue while abandoning the first world problems. So that will be coming out, about 2 to 3 weeks. But otherwise, I mean, you got questions, go to Asshole Consult. Oh, I got a Cameo account. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So Cameo is this app, and it was for like celebrities and not, not like George Clooney or nothing, but different influencers and all that. So if someone likes you as an influencer, you're on Cameo, you can pay that person to do like a short video for your buddy's birthday.
Oh,
or
I've seen
to
that.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I got that account. So if you just, I guess, Cameo Aaron Clary, and if you want me to yell and curse at someone, there you go.
That's cool.
Otherwise, yeah, that's about. Vince already paid me to do one on TJ. Doesn't want to pick on TJ, so it's kind of like
poor TJ always gets picked on.
He does, because we like him. He's so cool.
That's my client, TJ. Last thing before we head out, Torgo says that the salt and pepper beard makes Cappy look older, but once Cappy's beard completely turns white, he'll start looking like Rare.
Let
and
me
there you
tell you
have it.
something, Torgo 100. Get Rare's beard, and I'm gonna get constipated, and we're gonna go have sex with large women of girthy extent.
I just have to say the candidate loved meeting Rare.
Rare's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, man. I'm going to be in Chicago next week. If there's time, I'll do another stream, but tax season is about to get started. So, Clary, when would you like to hang out?
We should hang out soon.
Soon?